Paper? Yes. Well, we already wrote down that. We did. So why didn't we look it up? I did it.
Multiplication. Multiplication is basically what you get when you think about multiples. For example, if I ask you to give me the multiples of 3. Multiples of 3 are the same thing as if I'd ask you to count by 3. So multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and it would go on forever and ever that direction there. Okay? But multiples are also part of multiplication in that it's really your multiplication table. Okay? For example, this is 3 times 1. 6 is 3 times 2. 9 is 3 times 3. 12 is 3 times 4. 15 is 3 times 5. And 18 is 3 times 6. If you know multiples, then you know your multiplication tables. And sometimes I see you doing that. Like, for instance, if it was 8 times 2 and you don't know what it is, what do? Most of you count by 2s till you do it 8 times. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. 2 times 8 is 16. Okay, but with the basic math facts, okay, those are ones that you should know, and I'm sure you've gone through them many times in your life. You know, you should know 7 times 8 is 56 without having to think about 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. Some other things to know about multiplication is this. Let's say I do have 7 times 8 equals 56. The things that you multiply together are called what? Anybody know?
Multiple.
Nope, those are called factors. And the answer to a multiplication problem is called a product. A product. So if the book asks you for the product of 4 and 3, it just wants you to multiply 4 and 3 together, and which would give you 12. Okay, and then we have to talk about the properties of multiplication. Just like we had addition properties, we have the multiplication properties, the props. And they're pretty much the same, actually. We have one called the commutative property. Does anybody remember what the commutative property of addition was? Jack?
It means that you can switch around numbers and look at the same.
And that's the same with multiplication. You can switch numbers. You can move numbers. For example, 7 times 8 is going to be the same thing as 8 times 7. You can flip-flop and move those numbers around. We also have this, which is a different property. It's called the identity property of multiplication. If you remember, we had an identity property of addition, and that was anytime you add 0 to anything, you get the same number. Well, the identity property of multiplication is not multiplying by 0, because when you multiply by 0, you always get 0. But what do you multiply by always to get the same number? Yeah. The identity property says that anytime you multiply by 1, is that a fly? Did I see that fly flying through my key?
Yeah, I just saw it.
Anytime you multiply by 1, you get the same number. Anytime you multiply by 1, you get the same number. So 7 times 1 is 7. 362 times 1 is 362. So you already know billions of multiplication facts. Because any number you multiply by 1, you're going to get itself. So if I asked Avram what 7,365 times 1 is, he would say, yeah, how hard is that? You already got that. And you already know another one. Okay, so we've got the commutative property, we've got the identity property, and then we've got the multiplication, the property of 0. And I'll bet you'll be able to figure that out just by its name. The property of 0 for multiplication is what? Anybody want to know?
0.
Yeah, anytime you multiply by 0, you get 0. Anytime you multiply by 0, you get 0. Put a little happy face there. So that is the 0 multiple. Everybody got that?
Yeah.
And like I said,